President Kamala Harris. Affirmative action in action. I spoke with a black friend of mine who told me that he considers the appointment of Kamala Harris to be Joe Biden's running mate to be, quote, racist. When I asked him to explain what exactly he meant, he told me she's nowhere near the best candidate. She's there because she's some form of black. Brief trivia question for you guys. How many delegates did Kamala Affirmative Action Harris win during the Democratic primaries? Have an answer? 0. Exactly 0. 0 delegates. A big fat goose egg. 0. Her claim to fame was, according to the press, who were absolutely salivating for her to win the nomination early on, was during the first debate to essentially accuse Joe Biden of being a racist.
It's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of 2 United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Then during the second debate, she essentially gets, bam, she gets dropped to the canvas by Tulsi Gabbard.
Congresswoman Gabbard, you took issue with Senator Harris confronting Vice President Biden at the last debate. You called it a, quote, false accusation that Joe Biden is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that needs to be done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about reentering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only
Note that she has no retort. She just drops back into a fake, strong voice. I am a woman, hear me roar. You'll see this again.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response,
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
then to add fuel to the fire, at least she stayed consistent because she believed Brett Kavanaugh's accusers, anybody that would say anything remotely bad about Justice Kavanaugh during his Supreme Court nomination hearings. She goes ahead and states, yes, of course I believe Joe Biden's sexual accusers, including Tara Reade. To be fair to her, there was a lot more behind the accusations, a lot more credibility that could be given to Biden's sexual accusers versus Kavanaugh's. Here she is saying, I don't know whether he should resign or not.
Believe them, and I respect them being able to tell their story and having the courage to do it.
Do you believe that the vice president should enter this race?
He's going to have to make that decision for himself. I wouldn't tell him what to do.
Then she drops out of the Democratic primaries before they even return to her home state of California. The reason she drops out? To avoid the embarrassment of being skunked, goose-egged in her own home state. Yet if the Harris-Biden ticket wins, she will literally be the first person appointed to the world's most powerful position, the highest office in the United States, based solely on affirmative action. Nobody believes that Joe Biden is going to make it through 4 years in office. A vote for Biden is assuredly a vote for Kamala, the DNC dishonest crony whose avarice for power knows no bounds. She will say or do or spew anything to attain it. She owes someone big at the DNC, likely Hillary Clinton, who will be pulling the puppet strings in the background. On one hand, she absolutely believes that Joe Biden's accusers of sexual assault were telling the truth. Yet Joe Biden wins the nomination, suddenly those fall off the table, those accusations. Joe Biden is now her patron saint. And anybody who is politically neutral would have seen during the vice presidential debates just how unlikable, fake, and phony this woman is.
And the truth and the fact is, Joe Biden has been very clear. He will not raise taxes on anybody who makes less than $400,000 a year.
He said he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Well, wait.
I'm speaking.
It'd be important if you said the truth. Joe Biden said twice in the debate last week that he's going to repeal the Trump tax cuts. That was tax cuts that gave the average working family $2,000 in a tax break every single year. Senator,
that is
that's the math.
absolutely not true. That
Is he only going to repeal part of the Trump tax cuts?
If you don't mind letting me finish, we can then have a conversation, okay?
Please.
Okay. Joe Biden will not raise taxes on anyone who makes less than $400,000 a year. He has been very clear about that.
And yet the media comes to her defense, explaining that Pence was mansplaining. Do you want to talk about what is really affirmative action? Treating people differently based on their race or gender, favoring them because of it. Either Harris is an incredibly strong and courageous and capable woman, as they will claim, or if she needs to be treated with velvet gloves that the media wants us to treat her with, she shouldn't be stepping into the ring. Simple question. Do you believe that Chinese Premier Xi, Vladimir Putin, or the mullahs of Iran are going to take it easy on her because she's a 5'1", unattractive, intellectually devoid woman? If you believe that, if you think that they are, then America is going right down the toilet drain. The rest of the world is absolutely going to take advantage of the fact that we are promoting political correctness over merit. She is positively unworthy of being our president. She doesn't have the merit, the capability, the charisma, the ability to unite our nation. She's a phony with a fake laugh and smile.
It was a debate.
Not everybody landed punches like you did, though.
It was a debate.
So you don't mean it.
It was a debate. That the whole reason, literally, it was a debate. It was called a debate.
I understand.
Everyone traveled to the debate. There were journalists there covering the debate, where there would be a debate
that wants to complain that she should be able to get away with it because she's a woman. And the media, of course, cover for her to the detriment of the rest of America. She'll declare Michael Brown murdered, despite Obama's own DOJ declaring otherwise. It doesn't matter whether it divides our nation further, if it fractures the bonds that we've built up over years. Who cares? I'm going to get ahead. Joe Biden cut the field of available candidates in half when he assured us that he was going to pick a woman. Not the best available candidate, but a woman. Then Kamala really got the inside track when Joe Biden stated, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. Talk about identity politics, eh?
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Look, she will absolutely become the first affirmative action president in history. Meritocracy is dead, and the United States will soon follow under President Kamala Affirmative Action Harris. None of the charm, smarts, or merit of the Obamas with even worse policies. Vote red, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video with a friend. Thumb it up. Peace and blessings. Have a fantastic day. Vote red.